And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat is the Lord's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Leviticus 3:16-17. The fat of the peace offering is nothing other than the secret, creative power buried in your own heart. When the priest lays that fat upon the altar and it burns in the fire, it is your own imaginative being, awakened and offered up, transformed into the sweet savor of new creation. All the fat is the Lord's, your highest potency, your very glory, now returned to its source. And the law that follows, that we eat neither fat nor blood, teaches the same inner alchemy. Blood is life's driving force, the pulse of mortal consciousness. Fat is the wealth of your untapped genius. To eat them is to squander them on the lowly self, to nourish the dying body with its own substance. Instead, you risk nothing but offer everything. You permit the altar of your inner Christ to consume the fat, to transmute the blood into spirit, and thus you are crucified with him and awakened within to his resurrection. This statute endures for every generation, because in every human heart, the Christ must die to the limited self and rise again as the all-powerful imagination. You do not voraciously feed your old fearful identity. You let the flame of conviction consume it. You bring all your hidden strength, the fat, to the altar, and the fire of the Spirit refines it. You refuse to sustain the dying flesh with its own blood. Instead, you live by the higher power that wells up from within. Thus, Leviticus becomes a living map of inner crucifixion and resurrection. The altar is your awakened consciousness. The fat is the Christ glory you once buried. The blood is the mortal life you relinquish. Burn them both in the sacred fire of awakened imagination, and there in that perpetual statute you discover the risen Lord in you. In these two verses, the fat represents the richest, most potent part of our inner life, our sense of worth, vitality, and passionate desire. The burning on the altar describes a state of conscious surrender, where our lower self, the everyday ego and its anxieties, releases its grip. By never eating fat or blood, we are reminded not to feed our sense of lack or fear, but to elevate our deepest longings to a higher level of awareness. Metaphysically, the altar is your subjective focus, your imagination and feeling. When you offer the fat, you are placing your most intense vision and emotion on that altar, allowing it to be consumed by the divine fire of awareness. The smoke rising as a sweet savor signifies the transformation of raw desire into a living magnetic force. In other words, your concentrated feeling, picturing becomes the creative agent that draws your vision into objective manifestation. This text quietly reveals your God-given power to transmute desire into reality. The fat is yours to consecrate. It belongs to the Lord within, the Christ principle of creative imagination. You are invited to claim authority over your own inner landscape, recognizing that every heartfelt image you cherish is actually the seed of your divine expression. Begin by discovering your true fat, the one longing that makes you feel most alive. Then ease into a state of relaxed attention, your personal altar, and allow the mind to settle into quiet awareness. In that stillness, paint your desire in vivid sensory detail, infusing every color, sound, and sensation with deep gratitude, as though it already stands before you in its fullness. As your vision ripens, release any attachment to how or when it must appear, refusing to nourish the raw worry that would pull you back into doubt. Rest in the simple trust that this offered vision, now kindled by your faith, will draw to you its corresponding reality. By consecrating your highest sense of worth and expectancy upon the living altar of your imagination, you awaken the creative power within each divine spark you place there, rising like sweet incense to call your desire into being.